What's up? What's up? My name is Alex, and this is my new channel, Superhero Hub. I'm really new to this, so bear with me. I'm not really too sure on how to work all this or anything like that. So just drop a comment and tell me give me ideas and stuff, anything like that. I'm open to any criticism or anything like that. Just tell me what you guys want and if you guys even decide to watch this video. But yeah, so basically this channel will be about all things superheroes, including movies, shows, comic books, all that stuff. I'll be talking about probably mostly movies and shows, what relating back to the comics, because I don't know, I feel like more people watch watch the shows and the movies than actually read the comics. So, but I may throw in some comic book episodes, or comic book pieces every once in a while. But yeah, first things first, let me get out of the way. And you can already kind of tell by my painting back there. It's a really bad painting. But my favorite superhero is Aquaman. I have my Aquaman hat on, wearing my Aquaman shirt, wearing my Aquaman socks. And this was not actually prepared for this video. I just kind of I decided I've been feeling real Aquaman today, I guess. So this is what I wore to college today, or to school today. So yeah, I even got I have an Aquaman cup, right? Or not cup, whatever you call these things. I have one. It's Aquaman, and then I have some comics somewhere. Yeah, I have Aquaman comics, and the movie's over there somewhere. I have a keychain. Bottom line is Aquaman's awesome. He's even my lock screen, so that'll probably come up several times throughout this channel. So we'll probably talk a lot about Aquaman. So if you like Aquaman, just know this is the place to be. But yeah, today, this is actually not the theme of this video. The theme of this video is a show I've been watching recently, and it was so good that it made me want to make a YouTube channel. Basically, I just had to talk about it somewhere, because I'm pretty sure I annoyed all my friends by talking about the show. But it is my new favorite show, and that is Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol is a show that's on the new DC streaming service, or if you can even call it new, but it's on the DC streaming service. They have pretty decent amount of stuff on there. They have some animated stuff, some they have a lot of original show, or not a lot, but they have some original shows, like Young Justice. They have season 3 on there. You can only see it on there. Swamp Thing, Doom Patrol, Titans. And then they have a lot of the animated shows. The things they don't have are, they don't have the CW shows, they don't have Smallville, and they don't have a lot of the DCEU movies, which is kind of weird, but maybe it'll all come later. But basically, Doom Patrol is a show about some I would say C tier hero. They're not A tier heroes at all. They're not heroes that most people will know about. They're kind of like how Guardians of the Galaxy. No one really knew about them before the movie came out, but then once the movie came out, boom, everyone knew about them. But yeah, so Doom Patrol is very it's kind of like the X-Men in the sense of what their characters are and the stories and stuff. It's a group of misfit superheroes that form a group and fight off bad guys and also try to deal with their inner demons. But see, Doom Patrol actually came first. But that's a little bit of just background behind Doom Patrol and the comic stuff. So I was never super into Doom Patrol comic books. I've read a pretty good amount of them, but it's never been I haven't read all of any series. I've read a pretty good amount, but not how much I read other comics like Aquaman and stuff like that. So, but I knew enough to know the basis of the show, and I would recommend that if you want to check out any comics, I would recommend going to see certain stuff first, because it's always great to see a show after you've read the comics and comparing it and seeing the Easter eggs and all the lore and all that stuff. It makes for what I think is the best experience when watching a show or movie. Anyways, let's get into the show itself, me reviewing the show. So what I love about this show is it is so crazy. It is so out there, and it's not afraid to be out there. It doesn't worry about containing this one I don't know. It's just so out there, and it's proud of it. It doesn't ever try to be this one coherent thing. It'll go up, sideways, down. It'll go everywhere possible in the most wacky way. There's literally a swarm of butts at one point. There's a giant rat and a giant cockroach making out. There's there's so much stuff in the show, and it sounds so weird me saying it here. Like, I know that sounds like a very odd show, but it is an odd show, but it does it in the best way possible. So basically, the show starts out like any pilot or episode should start out with them explaining the origins of superheroes, and you get the origin of the villain, and you get the basic plot. The basic plot, it is a very basic plot, but that leaves so much room for character development, and they do so much with that. They each character they're very funny in their own aspect, in their own rights, and they're also, they have very like tragic events that happen to them, and very like a lot of things to overcome, a lot of hurt and pain that they have to overcome, and they're never really like, they don't really become a team per se until the end. They're all like trying to work with themselves, like work on themselves, and then eventually at the very end they become a team, and it's a great thing to see how they grow throughout the show. You really get to see all their growth, and every actor does a great job of portraying their character. And like, for instance, Brendan Fraser plays Robot Man, or Cliff Steele. He plays that character, and that character is a robot, so you don't get to see his facial expressions like ever. It doesn't have any kind of facial expressions on the robot. His mouth doesn't move. Only thing that moves is the eyes open and close, and they don't ever change it. They just open and close. So for an actor to be able to display such emotion and like all these different emotions and get you to really feel for that character with no facial expressions is something that is incredibly hard to do. And he nails it. I feel he's one of the most relatable characters, or you just always feel what he's feeling. And all the other actors are the same way. There's one character, she has 64 different personalities, so she has to act a bunch of different ways. Even in like one episode, so they have to like, she has to change her acting style throughout every personality, and you really feel like that's another whole person. Like, it's her face, but you really feel like her acting is so spot on that she's a different character every time she is a different personality. And like they all have their own. They're just so distinct and different, and none of them like feel like the other one. They're just the characters work very well together. The chemistry they have together is also really great, and it's just like the show. Another thing I love about the show is that they put in so many Easter eggs and like just little things that if you catch up, like, you might not even have to read the comics. You might just know other superhero stuff, and you can just catch up on that stuff and know these characters. And when you see them like bring it in, I'm such a nerd, but like there's characters that they bring in, like this is a spoiler alert, by the way. They bring in characters like Danny the Street, the Beard Hunter, like the Cult of the Unwritten Book, and they like bring all these characters and like things in from the comic books, and it's just, first of all, they do it so accurate. Also, there's the Brain. There's the Brotherhood of Evil that they hint at. They even set up for Grid. So all these characters and things that like are just a great setups for next time. And then like they just put these characters in. They're not just like little side characters either. They make them important to the show. And you know how hard it is to make a sentient genderqueer street that can like jump, like teleport. I mean, it works, but it works so well. And they have Animal Vegetable Mineral Man, which is another really cool character that I thought would never get screen time. Like, they put all these things that I just think I would never be able to see if it wasn't for Doom Patrol. And things that I've always known about, but it's just never been able to see it on screen. And so seeing those kind of things, it's really cool. But yeah, the show is it's a weird show, but it embraces the weirdness in such a way that it's just an amazing show, and it's so funny. It is definitely not child appropriate, so don't let your little kids watch it. If they're around, I wouldn't say watch the show, but this show really captured me from the moment it started. I just wanted to watch more and more and more, and I finished the show in about like a week or two. It didn't take me any time at all to finish the show. But yeah, also the ending, like the villain he has like his motives. You don't really know his motives for most of the time. But once you get to the end, you realize the twist, which they take from the comics actually. Once you get to that twist, they pull it off so well. His character is pulled off so well. Like that villain is such a good villain. But there's not really one thing I have to say about Doom Patrol. The only thing, and I wouldn't even consider it a complaint, but there's not that much like action, like fighting scenes in it. They usually take a more like they take a different approach. Instead of using like fight scenes, there'll be like a weird set of events that happens to why a certain villain or a certain thing will go away. So there's not very many fight scenes, but that might be because of budget a little bit. But to me, that didn't matter. I didn't need all the fight scenes. It was like the ones that they had were great. They were awesome fight scenes, and I like that they were spread out and not as like, because I feel like shows like Flash and Arrow, they have very choreographed fights, and they all kind of feel the same. But these fights, like the fight scenes that they do have, are just are awesome, and like the way that they deal with other conflict is also like really interesting. So even the very end of the show, there's not a final battle per se. There's just a thing that happens, and I'm not going to spoil that, but it's a very great way of ending the show, of wrapping up the show. And it's like, and you can see where you can go from there too. It wraps everything up perfectly, but you also see the setup for the next chapter of the story. And like, I don't know, every episode felt like its own entity. It felt like its own being. It went through the general story, like it was all to find the chief, but each episode did something so it was such a different story in each episode, and it really seemed like revealed new characters, new aspects of like characters we already knew, and it just everything was just so different. From like one episode, you'll be like fighting a swarm of butts, which I don't know if I already talked about that, but it there there's just so much going on in every episode. There's like one time there'll be magic and all this other stuff, and in another episode you'll be completely in Jane's head, which is the 64 personality girl. You'll be completely in her head and seeing what goes on in there. It's just like everything that it hints at, it either goes into detail on, or it sets up for a future, what's going to happen in the future. So I'm really excited to see where this show goes, because every episode of the first 15 episodes were like masterpieces. They were all like great episodes. Not a single one of them that I think was poorly handled. They all felt like they were necessary, and they all felt perfectly Doom Patrol. And the very end, it just really kept like the very end just captures the essence of Doom Patrol, and the show is so accurate to what I know of the comics. Like I said, I didn't read like a bunch, but everything that I remember reading from Doom Patrol, they almost like the page. You can almost copy and paste the page onto the screen. It is so accurate with all the stuff it does, and the stuff that it does change, it does like in a meaningful way. That's like adding Cyborg. Cyborg was never really part of Doom Patrol, but in his addition, I was like, well, should he just be in Titans instead? But they fit him in so well into the story that I couldn't see it happening any other way. So yeah, Doom Patrol gets a 10 out of 10 for me. That is my favorite show right now, and I'll see you guys later. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see what happens from there. But thank you for watching.